exceed 40 hours.
Yes.
This one directly?
No, directly you can speak, sir. Directly you can speak. So we are like, this is a deferred stream, so like 30 seconds only we will get the output.
Yes,
so I just paused it. But if you want, you can play also. I just muted it.
I think so. Can I start?
Yeah, we can start, sir. So you are live only, sir.
Yeah.
And then I will just open questions which are asked. Yes. Yes.
So
this chat, no, sir, we can pop it out, sir. This dots, 3 dots. Yeah, I just chat. Okay. So students' questions will come here, sir.
yes.
Then this also will somewhere here.
Look, first I will try to take this one and then I will come to the chat.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fine, sir.
It is good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, little more so that you can see the names.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, you can start.
So Hemant, good afternoon. I think now you are going to be one of my most popular student.
But we are already live on, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, friends. So welcome to this live session on essential of data science with R software. Right, I can see some names on my screen, and at least Hemant's name looks familiar to me because I remember that last year he was in my course and he was an active student. I do remember that he has pointed out some of my mistakes in my slides. So welcome Hemant once again, and welcome Rajiv Pragya. So, okay, before I try to take up the shoes, let me try to give you an idea that why I thought about this course and how I planned it and what do I expect that how are you going to do it in future. You see, whenever we are talking about data science, so data science and science, as I said, this is going to be a combination of statistics, mathematics, computer science, programming, and software, hardware, everything. So there is not one thing. So my objective was we all were taught only statistics, and now statistics became the backbone of the data science. So whenever you are trying to do in data science, you are trying to observe the phenomena. And then you have to, instead of doing the calculations manually and trying to draw inference manually, you have to automate them. You need to do something such that data is coming live. For example, if I try to take an example, then whatever statistical tool they are going to be used, they are used automatically, they are implemented automatically, and then whatever conclusions have to be drawn, they are also drawn automatically. for example, means if I take a very simple example, suppose if you want to create the bar diagram or pie chart, then data will be coming automatically, and then whatever is the command for creating the bar diagram or the pie chart, that will be executed, and finally you will have a a complete picture. And so these are the things which are expected from the data science, from the statistics. The expectation was only one, that how to create this bar diagrams and then this pie chart, etc. So from that point of view, I thought that it is very important to understand the basic fundamentals of statistics before you dive into data science. And means after spending 25 years in this profession, means as a student, I was always thinking that why this theory is important. But now, means after 25 years, or rather more than 25 years in this profession, now I have understood that if you cannot plan anything from the theory, you cannot execute it. Because you are talking about the programming. And once you are talking about the programming, the next question comes, what to program? Unless and until I give you a code, I give you a problem that you have to code. It means how a programmer can code it. So that is why this theory of statistics is very important. Now, when I come to the theory of statistics, this field is between minus infinity to plus infinity. But I have tried my best to give you the basics, fundamentals, which are related to the probability theory. And then I'm not saying at all that I have completed all the topics. It was not really possible to do in the 30 hours of the lecture. Means officially it was 30 hours, but practically you will see it is going to be around 35 hours or so. So, but my idea was only one, that I want to take out the fear from your heart that statistics is difficult and it is not possible to learn it yourself. The only thing is this, I wanted to create some foundations so that based on that, now you can build up your buildings, you can put different types of blocks. And secondly, my objective was that how are you going to view the statistics which you are going to study from the books in the format of theory to this data science. So for that, I have given you some idea that whenever you are trying to look at the theory, it is not theory, but somehow you have to visualize it. And that is why means I have taken here different types of example, different types of concept, and I tried my best that how one can think about these concepts. To be extremely honest before you, thanks to Corona, that during that lockdown, yes, I got some free time and I thought that what is the connection between statistics and data science? And that is how I came up with this course. Well, I'm not claiming that the way I'm thinking, that is the only way. Different people can think in a different way. Different people can initiate the thought process or the discussion on the same topic in a different way. But this is one possible way where I found that if my teacher tells me in this way, possibly I will understand it. So that was my very honest effort. I am not saying that I have covered all the things or I am the best one. The best teachers of your life are your books. So please believe on them. Now, let me first try to take up some questions which were given on this Excel file. So I will try to read the question and I will try to answer them. So first question is from Krishna Reddy. Yeah, he's an IT employee. I have a lot of question to ask. Okay, so I think he has written only one. So no, he has not written any question, but he has written only, I have a lot of question to ask. But Krishna Reddy, unless until you ask me, how do I know? So let me come to the second question. Kathagato Dasgupta, he's in service, and his question is, sir, in today's scenario, where everybody uses software language, is it necessary to remember the formulas which you had demonstrated in the sessions? Those are really good for the strong fundamentals of us, but will that be asked by any company? Well, Kathagata, let me give you a very honest answer. Can you recall that in your childhood, I'm sure that your mom must have been asked asking you repeatedly to learn the tables from 2 to at least 20. And this was the biggest question in your mind, that why should you learn these tables when you have a calculator in your hand? But I'm sure that you have seen that, okay, you may not remember what is 17 sevens or 17 and nines are, but at least you know a reasonable number of tables and you know some standard reasonable values, right? You may not be able to find out means directly what is 17 eights are, but 17 fives are 85 is easy to remember. So number one, I would say my first answer to your question is try to remember as much as you can. There is no necessity that you have to remember each and every formula. No. Formulas actually, they are very difficult to keep in mind. So I will not really ask you to remember the formula, but the structure of the formula should be in your mind so that whenever you are trying to think something, you can translate whether these things can be implemented over there or not. Right, number one. Number two, you have to understand more that, for example, under what type of condition the binomial distribution can be used, under what type of condition Poisson distribution can be used, and under what type of conditions the hypergeometry or negative binomial distribution can be used. Right. So in case it, so my answer is that primarily you have to answer under what type of condition you can use what, and what type of answers you are going to get. For example, under or say simply Chebyshev inequality gives you what type of outcome. That is what you have to keep in mind. Now, a broad framework of the Chebyshev inequality should be in your mind so that you can imagine or you can keep in your mind that it's a statement about the probability. But then what is the exact expression that you can look into the book? So my final answer is this: you have to strike a balance between the two. Right. But keeping in mind the application or the utility of those functions or those formulas, that is more important in my opinion, because whenever you are trying to deal a problem in the data science, the problem will only be told to you. The statement of problem will only be known to us, and this is only we people who are going to take a call that whether we have to use here the binomial distribution or the Poisson or say anything else, or if you want to do here something more. So, right. So I hope I have made it clear. Yeah, means your question cannot had a one-line answer. Okay, the next question is from Megha Mehta. She is student how to learn the format of statements in R console. You see, means I will try to give the same answer which I have just given about the statistical formulas. Yeah, it is difficult to remember each and every statement. But if you ask me, from my experience, I can say that if you are using these commands or this programming language, if you are not using it for some time, you may forget it. But believe me, whenever you want to use it, it will not take more than 15 minutes to recall all the formulas, whatever you have learned earlier or whatever you have used earlier. But even in those cases, you will have a confusion that, okay, there is going to be a square bracket or a curly bracket, or where you have to put something in small letters or capital letters. I would say simply go to the help menu and try to see. The only thing is this: you need to know what you exactly have to do. For example, if I ask you, suppose you want to find out the trace of a matrix. Now, for the trace of a matrix, I remember that one of the person has asked on the portal also. Now, there is also a package which is coming from the psychometrics, that is the psychology. In that package, if you try to use, you can simply use the command tr. Otherwise, you can simply write sum of the diagonal of the matrix. Right, so that is how you have to go. But yeah, more or less, you should have some idea that, okay, these are the things that can be done in the R. Okay, so the next question is from Nikhil Bhagya. Respected sir, I'm very curious to know how data can be changing into different interfaces. How data can be changing into different interfaces. No, Nikhil, I'm not clear what exactly you are asking, but I believe you are asking that how the data has to be used as input in different types of platform like as Unix or Macintosh or Windows or DOS, etc. So believing that this is the question means I would say that this depends on the interface what you are trying to use, and based on the type of data required by that interface, you have to arrange the data for the input. That much I will say. For example, if I have to write the R command in Unix, the backslash will become front slash, or vice versa in Windows, right? That is the first thing. The second thing is this: if I understand you are trying to ask that how do you want to give the data under different types of programs. For example, if you want to conduct the design of experiment in R or in say some other software, the way you have to input the data, that is going to be different, but the answer will come only from the software itself. Okay, the next question, or if you have another question, you can still type in that chat box. I will try to answer it. Okay, the next question is from Milind Anna Sahab. Suppose one wants to make career in data science, then what courses he or she has to learn, knowledge of which software is needed, and where he could get job. Milind, I would say still I'm trying to be a data scientist, and still I don't know whether I will get a job as a data scientist or not. Because if you ask me, there are so many things which you have to learn that, but instead of first learning all the things and then you try to pick up the job, better is to have the minimum requirement and then try to jump into the river, and then you will learn how to swim. So I will say you try to take up a job based on your some knowledge about statistics, computer science, programming, software, etc. And then whenever the problem comes, you try to solve it. At the same time, you try to take the help from the books, from different resources. And then means after some time, you will become a very good data scientist. For example, if you ask me, my students are much more better data scientists than what I am, because they simply learned the theory and then they got the job in some private companies who are dealing with the data science. They handle the problems over there and now they know much better than me. Right. So that is my advice to you also. But the basic thing is this: you need to know for the basic fundamentals of statistics, and you need to know some software. Means I would say the which software is needed. I will say nowadays most of the companies are preferring free softwares. So this R and Python both are becoming very popular. So means I would say at least you begin with some software, you should know some programming language, and then depending on the type of problem, type of nature, you can means say you will learn the required knowledge. Okay, then there is another question from Shiny Mukherjee. For the TF and chi-square distribution, can distribution be interchanged through manipulation? If yes, how can we change the forms of distribution for a given mean, variance, and number of observations? Well, you see, Shiny, you have two questions which are completely independent. So I will try to answer them one by one. For TF and chi-square, yes, there is a sort of relationship between their means among them, but that is not very useful. I would say that means you just try to take TF and chi-square as three independent distribution as far as their utility is concerned, and try to use where you have to use the or try to choose the most appropriate distribution at that place, right? And moreover, TF and chi-square, they are essentially used to find out the distribution of the statistics that you are going to use. So as long as you can use the exact distribution, that is always useful, that is needed. But in case sometime if the situation become very complicated, then we try to do some approximation to this TF or chi-square, and then we try to do it. But at this stage, I would say don't do this thing. Right. Your second question is, so my answer is actually, how can we change the forms of distribution for a given mean variance number. You see, that's not a very correct question in the sense the mean variance and other properties, they are different for every distribution. So don't try to mix and match, try to use whatever is the distribution and its mean variance and other properties. Then the next question is from Senti Kumar. Sorry, yes, Senti Kumar. That can suggest me one book for study and pass this course. If prerequisite degree statistics, then many of us may not choose this course. You see, Shanti Kumar, there is a fundamental conflict between you and me. I never taught this course to for you to pass the exam. I had given this course so that you can learn the basic fundamentals of statistics from the viewpoint of data science. In fact, I never taught a course to pass the examination because that is called as coaching. So it is not possible. Even you ask me, means I we also fail in the same examination in which I have given the lectures. Right. So I will say, but on the other hand, I will say simply, if you have understood the basic concepts, basic fundamental, there should not be any problem in getting the first rank in the examination of this course. That much I can promise you. And then secondly, means you have to believe that that I am not your enemy, I'm your friend. And in case if I try to set a question paper where everybody or say anybody is getting failed, then before you, I will try to blame myself that what I made wrong, because of which my student could not understand this concept and because of which they could not answer that question in the exam. Right. So your pass and fail, they are directly associated with my capability also. And who is the person in the world who would try to put his position at stake? I will say simply try to understand the basic fundamentals, try to follow the books which I have given in the references, but they are not all the books. There are many, many books. You just try to take up those topics, try to read from the books, and believe me, nobody can stop you in getting the first rank in the entire examination. Promise. Okay, then there is from another question, Anandas Satyamurthy. I am learning after 30 years at the age of 50. Wow, congratulations. Good. It is a wonderful and awesome session. I got the opportunity to learn from great Professor Shalabh. So, well, I'm not great. Thanks to God and NPTEL. Yes, that I am grateful to God as well as NPTEL. My questions are below. Which book I have to study first? Is it possible to have online books are available? How to get the number? If I have the doubt, is it possible to connect with your students to clear my doubts to any messenger or through group? You see, Mr. Ananda, yes, I appreciate and I respect you that you took this call. And basically, me and you both are sailing in the same boat. Means I am also nearly 50 and still trying to learn the statistics. So you are also trying to do it. You see, there is nothing like the first book. Means I would say, since I have given these lectures and my objective in this lecture is to make the concept simple to understand. So that is what I have done. So my suggestion will be that you first try to view my lectures and then try to see the same topic in the elementary books. There are not one, there are many, many books, and it depends on your objective that whether you want to do the theory or you want to do the application or you want to do it only from the software point of view. There are enormous of number of books. So it means you can just pick up any book wherever, whatever you can actually learn. Right. My own book is also there. That is also written in a very simple language. And particularly for those who don't have a statistics background, so that you can also study. Is it possible to have online books available? Yes, I think, but it depends that where you are. Now, for example, if you come to IIT-Kanpur, yes, IIT-Kanpur has some subscription to some of the books, and rest we try to manage, you know why, how. So if I have the doubt, you see, as far as me or my students are concerned, we always try to help as many as people in this world. And that is the reason why I have given this lecture. So whenever you have any problem, you just try to write it to us, and we will try to give you answer in the shortest possible time, in the best possible way. But surely means I always say the same thing to my students, that next year means I will have one more batch, and then my first priority will be that batch. So but surely I will try to answer as soon as possible. That much I can promise you, if I can. Okay, then next question is from Oma. uh, how will the exam format be? Will our software? Okay, that is going to be a multiple choice question, and then yes, our software will not be available, but surely the questions have been framed in such a way that you can answer easily. Right. Then from Hemant, sir, I'm doing a research and want to select a random sample from a city, and I don't have a resource to employ enumerators. How can I do it? Also, in the city, researchers generally do not have list of citizens. Then how one can see the selected from that population? You see, at least you, well, Hemant, I will suggest you that if you are doing my this second course, Essentials of Data Science with R Software Part 2, in which I have addressed the sampling theory and these other things, there I can answer this question. Right. So I think that will be a better place. So if you can also join me uh, at the in the next session that is going to start at 3:30 today, in which means I can give the answer of this question in more detail. But surely you need to create the sampling frame, and for that you need some information. Right. Otherwise, how can you collect a sample? Well, when you don't know the population. Right. So means something will be there. For example, means I can take a hypothetical example that suppose means I know that in this colony there are 500 houses, or their house numbers are from 1 to 500. So at least means I know that there are 500 houses. I don't have the entire information that who's staying in those houses, but surely if I want to select a sample of size 20, I can randomly choose 20 numbers, and then I can go to those 20 houses and can collect information. Then your next question is, can you suggest a book related to the course content of the present course, which we are in theory as well as example related to topic. For example, I have given a couple of books in the uh, reference section of this course. From there, you can find it out very easily. Yeah. And they are the books which you can follow easily uh, for this level of this course, which for example, my own book has theory as well as example, this one. Then from Harshit, sir, what will be the pattern of question paper and what will be the system of marking? What will be the mode of examination, offline, online? So pattern of question paper is a multiple choice. System of marking means how does it make any difference? My objective will be, instead of knowing about the system of marking, try to solve all the question correctly. Whatever marking scheme anybody has, you will get the full marks. Rest you can see on the website of the NPTEL. What will be the mode of examination? That you know, that is going to be online. Then Hemant has one more question. How can I contact Professor Shalabh sir in future case of any doubt? Means if you go to my homepage, it has everything. You just try to choose whatever you want. Right. So Vishwadis Ghosh, sir, do we have to study all the derivations or just the result? Well, that is a very difficult question. How can I say as a teacher that you can leave this part and try to do this part? Because if they were not important, then why should I teach you? So, Miss, I would say suggest that you should know both the things. Otherwise, your learning will be incomplete. Sir, in the examination, how do we have to answer our software related question? Yes, means I have framed the question in such a way, means which you can solve them very easily if you have done the course sincerely, if you have solved all the assignments. So, and then you have finally, you have to have faith on me that I'm your friend, not your enemy. Then Pragyanikam, sir, I want to know the format of examination and difficulty level. Use the format examination. I already had told you multiple type question, difficulty level, you see, means all the questions which you can solve, right? So that is as simple as that. Okay, now I come to the questions which are given in the chat box. So I will try to read them one by one. Yeah. And, right. So first question is come from Richa Sharma. Good afternoon, sir. Can you please suggest how and where to prepare question related to data science? I think, Harisha, you are asking from the examination point of view. You see, I have given you so many assignments. Every week there was one assignment ranging from 15 to 30 questions. So I think they should be sufficient for practicing. The rest, you can choose an ebook and then try to understand the basic concepts, and that's all I would say. Then Kathagato Dasgupta is asking another question. Will there be more questions on formula based as we are maximum in the quizzes, or we will get our software based? You see, that is going to be a combination. My objective is extremely simple, that I simply want to judge whether you have understood or learned the course in such a ways such that you can use it. And you have to understand one thing, that if you have done this course and if you write in your biodata that you have done this course, and in case if you cannot employ those things, or you cannot explain it to other one, before you my image and my position will be at stake, that people will try to blame me first, that how you have taught that Kathagato could not understand. Right, okay. Pragyaniyam, I said I belong to DAV College Kanpur. Okay, so you are from Kanpur, from my own, where I am sitting right now. So do you remember you took a lecture on big data in Static Pandyan? Yes, I do remember. Yes, I do remember. That was the fantastic experience to be there with the such bright students. So Adarsh Raj, how is prepared a good statistics? Well, that means you have to simply work hard, you have to study, that's all. Then Mark Newen, if we have analytical and logical mindset, how long would it take to learn the skill set? The reason is because I do not have programming language. You see, I will say, Mark, a very simple question. Can you recall when you were born and came to this earth? You didn't knew even how to take the food. You didn't knew how to walk, but you had an analytical and logical mindset, because of which you learned all the things. Means if you are born in say UK or US, then you learn English. If you are born in India, you will learn Hindi, and then if you're born in Germany, you will learn the German language, and nobody teaches us. So all of us as a human being have got analytical and logical mindset, right? And then you have to simply use it. So when you can train your mind to understand whether the person is making you happy or sad, that is also a programming language. Means you have seen that how do we play with small children when we try to do different types of gestures. Sometimes because of those gestures, the small child actually laughs. So that is the programming which that child is trying to learn. So definitely you can do it very easily. Means God has given you this quality. Right? Is data scraping the best way to get data, or there are any option to get data? You see, it's not a question of getting the data. You have to first identify the problem, and then based on that problem, what you really want to know, you have to collect the data. For example, if you try to see, nowadays people are trying to make different types of this clinical trials for the COVID vaccination. So definitely they have to get the data, that how COVID the vaccine is reacting on those human beings. So similarly, if somebody has to get a data that how medicine works for controlling the body temperature, then they have to get a different type of data. So data scrapping is not actually the best way, but I will say that try to get the data. Once you get the data, then you have to use the tools of this data science. Okay, then Yasin, sir, what is the importance of data science for our future? Well, Yasin, let me be accept you for all of you very honestly. 25, 28 years back when I did my master's in statistics, even I didn't knew that statistics is going to be so popular. It's not even popular. The statistics has spread it into so many direction that the expectation of people are increasing, the applications are increasing, the utility is increasing, the way statistics is being looked, that is increasing. If you try to see your Google Maps, by looking at your Google Maps, you can even know that how much time will you take from going from one city to another city. What is that? That is data science. Right, there is some mathematics, some statistics, there is some random operation, there is some traffic, and then and because of that, which the people try to estimate how much time it is really going to take. So there is, yeah, so that is the importance of the data science, that you will have a bright future, you will have a good job, and then you will have a wonderful life. That's all. Okay, sir, then Harshit Pandey, sir, in how many section paper will be there? It will be like a jam which consists of negative marking and separate sections contain separate marks. Yes, I will say that there will be 3 sections with different marking marks depending on the difficulty level that will be there. Yeah, it's not like a jam, because yeah, jam is much more difficult than this exam. Right. Okay. Then Risha Sharma is asking, no, sir, but exam point of view, I mean procedure or like data mining and data cleaning steps after that. Risha, I'm now lost. What from? I think you are talking from somewhere from the back. Risha, okay, your first question was how to prepare the question related to data science. Okay, now that's in continuation. Not exam point of view, I mean procedure like data mining. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Risha. Now I got it. So you see, whenever the data comes, yes, data mining is the set of statistical procedures which are used inside the data. But before that, the data cleaning comes. Right. So whenever the data comes, our first objective is that the data is clean. That means the data what we want for the statistical tool, that is available to us, and it doesn't happen automatically. For example, if I say even you are trying to collect the data on the age, and if you ask 20 people to go in the city and try to collect 100 observation each, somebody may write the age as say 21 years YEARS. Somebody may write the exact date. Somebody may write the age as say number of years, number of days, and somebody may write number of years, number of days, number of this months, and so on. So all this data that is going to be in a different formats. So you need to put them in a single format so that it is applicable um, to the statistical tool. But the problem is that I promise you, the moment I start teaching you this data cleaning, you will simply fast forward my video. And if you are sitting in my class, next day possibly you will not come to my class also, because that will become too boring. But on the other hand, when you are trying to deal with the real data, then data cleaning becomes your priority, and then you enjoy it. There is no single statistical rule. Data cleaning is not a statistical process. Data cleaning comes primarily by the common sense and the applicability of the tools and the type of data what you need, which has to be applied in that statistical methodology. But it is important, yes. Then Nayan is asking, hello, sir, I am a student of statistics and I have to do some project work and I have to collect the data for that. So from where I can get raw data from any field. So I want free data sites. So then you see, whenever you want to get the data, first you have to define the basic objective. Means in case if you are hungry, that is the objective, then you will get to go to the restaurant. But if somebody is ill, that will go to the hospital. So definitely you need to collect the data. Statistics cannot work without that data. If there is no data, what statistics will actually do? Right. So when you want to say, when you're writing, I have to do some project work. Means some project where it is something like you go to a doctor and say that please give me some medicine. The doctor cannot give it to you, but the doctor will ask you very clearly that what is your problem, whether the person has a pain in the head or in the stomach or in the leg. So first you have to decide the objective of your project, and then you have to see how are you going to collect the data so that you can fulfill your objectives, or you can answer the question that you want to know. Then Adarsh is asking, what is the important point in data science for the job and what I do become a good statistic? You see, I will say simply, try to learn as many as topics in statistics, try to have a good practice on the software. The means I will say if there are two-person who comes to my suppose company, and if I have the same objective and one person can apply the statistical tool in say 5 minutes, and say another takes say this 5 hours, to whom you are going to give the job. That is as simple as that. So everybody wants efficiency. So you should have good practice of the software. You should know how to handle at least the basic functions. And yeah, you should know as many as possible statistical tool, and try to have the practice, as much practice as you can. The more you practice, actually this statistics and the medical science, they have a similar role, that in medical science, people say that if you try to practice more, then you will learn more. And similar is the story in the statistics also, that if you try to learn or you try to practice more, you will become a better statistician. So then Mark is asking, data science is becoming a trend and companies are teaching their employees these skills. How will a student with a data science certificate stand out? Yes, you see, there is a difference. When somebody is joining a job in the company, then the company has certain objectives, and they will always try to train their students so that they can get the job done. But surely, before they try to give you the training, they are not going to give the training on the basic fundamentals. So one has to understand, one should know the basic fundamental, so that the company can give you the training in the advanced topic. For example, if somebody don't know the basic fundamentals of, like as what I have taken care in this course, then if they want to do a statistical modeling, and if they decide to say, okay, this component is following the binomial distribution, people cannot understand it. Right. So, so in case, so I'm not talking of the certificate, but I will talking of the knowledge. So if you have the statistics knowledge that you have gained either through NPTEL course or through your classes, etc., etc., from maybe from wherever you want, that is really going to help you out. Means that much I can say, that if you don't have a statistics background, then it is very difficult to do such training programs. But if you have this background, the conducting those training, learning from those training programs will be much easier. So you will always have an advantage if you have this course. I'm not talking about the certificate, because certificate does not mean that the person always knows everything. Then okay, then Bishwadi's goes, sir, will there be any negative marking? I don't think so. Means why should I take your mark out? Right, so there is no negative marking. Anand, thanks for my queries. Always welcome, Anand. Akash, good afternoon, all. Sorry. Then Neeraj Kumar, sir, what is the difference between structured and unstructured data? Okay, can you give one example of both? Yes, you see, structured data and unstructured data, that you can just follow from the name. Structured means there is a pattern in which the data has been collected, and the unstructured means where there is no pattern in which the data has been collected. For example, if I try to say one very simple example, if you are trying to record your data in a spreadsheet, like the file that you have got through this MS Excel or something like this, open office file, then that is structured, because in the first column there is name, second column is age, third column is the height. But in case if you try to take a GPG file, that a photograph, and try to decompose the means, try to see the pictures and try to take some data in some format, that is going to be unstructured data. right? So that is as simple as that. This structured and unstructured data, they are very useful when you are trying to do the programming from the computer science point of view. Okay, Yasin, sir, I completed my diploma in mechanical and now pursuing my BE in information technology and my interest in machine learning. Can you please give a short brief on ML? ML means machine learning. You see, machine learning is simply the statistics. The only thing is this: if you have a data size of say size 20, and if I ask you to suppose find out the arithmetic mean, you can easily find it out. Now I move one step more, and suppose if there is a data value which is 0. Now I give you an option that whether you have to find here the arithmetic mean or the geometric mean, then what are you going to do? So obviously, if one of the observation is 0, the geometric mean will become 0. So under this situation, it is not advisable to use the geometric mean. But these things you are trying to do manually. But then now the question is this: can you do it in an automated way? So suppose if you ask me to write a program, I will say, okay, read the data. In case if there is any value 0, don't find geometric mean, but you try to find other things like arithmetic mean or other things. So now, and then as soon as the data is given, that is tested, that is checked, and then you are writing a program to find out the arithmetic mean. The arithmetic mean will be automatically found. So similarly, if you try to extend this example, machine learning is only the set of statistical tool in which they are executed automatically. Means automatically means it doesn't come from the god, it doesn't come from the sky, but you have programmed it depending on your objective. For example, if your objective is that you want to reduce the dimension, now you have to see that how you want to reduce the dimension. You want to use the principal component, you want to use the lasso, etc. And they have their own conditions. So depending on the condition, you simply try to give the data and you say, okay, click here that you produce the dimension. Now whatever statistical tool that you have given inside the program, they will try to check that what type of tool has to be used here. And then based on that, the lasso or say some other thing, whatever has to be used, that will be automatically diverted. The data is automatically diverted to that program, and then the results are employed. So this is called actually machine learning. So as the name suggests, the learning is coming from the machine. Machine means computer. Okay, then Harshit Pandey, sir, I'm a student of DAV College, Kanpur, and here there is not any kind of software or programming language is taught. So how can we enhance your technical skill and become job ready? You see, Harshit, I'm trying to help only people like you, right? Means I understand all these conditions, but if you try to see, there is R software, there is Python software, these are the free softwares. And if you try to write in your CV that you are, that enhances the value of your biodata. So the question comes that how are you going to learn the R? Means if you go to the Miss NPTEL site, I mean, I don't know about Miss others, but at least I have given there up to 20 hours course that is completely free. So you can just watch those videos, you can learn the R. And similarly, I believe that there will be other courses trying to teach different types of programming language and software. So that is completely free. So the government of India is trying to help only people like you, right? Because yeah, I agree that we don't have sufficient money in most of the cases to buy the expensive softwares. Okay, then the next question is Anand Satyamurthy. One day exam. What is in the morning session and afternoon? We have to bring laptops for using our software. No, you cannot. So what is there on the day of examination? What is the schedule that you will come to know only from the NPTEL side, but you don't need to bring any your laptop or computer or any R software. The software will not be provided during the examination, and then you will have those examination terminals like as a screen and a keyboard with you. From there, you can attempt the questions. Okay. Then Anand Satyamurthy, fantastic lecture, sir. In middle of the lecture, giving example, you are providing confidence and how to approach the problem. Anand, this is my job, and you have means I feel happy if you are if you can understand any concept, and yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. And thank you means if you acknowledge that I am doing my job honestly. Then others, I do a more practice on our software is the best. Yes, doing more practice on the R software is always beneficial, no doubts. Right. Okay. Then Chandrama thought, can we get some exposure to live example in the data science? You see, there is a thing called a live example. I have tried my best to bring you as live as possible to the data. At this moment, you are simply as a suppose you are trying to the medical science. Do you think that on the first day the person will bring a human being before you to cut his stomach? No, but you are taught that okay, this is how the structure inside the body looks, and these are the chemical compositions, and these are the different types of chemicals which react in different parts of the body in this way. You are taught about those basic fundamentals, and then once you understand all those basic fundamentals, then you are asked to see a patient and try to diagnose and then try to give the medicines. Right. So yes, in medicine, so there will be an opportunity like live these operations. So yeah, so in that way, I will say, don't worry. You just try to learn this. These basic fundamentals, try to take a data set yourself and try to analyze it. At the most, you will fail. Then try again, I will say. Finally, unless until you reach to the good conclusion. Okay, sir. Then Yazid, sir, I have over 25 years of experience and have done credit risk modeling in banks, learning stats on Go. I joined the program to put a structure to my learning. What courses can you recommend for me? You see, for this credit risk modeling, I will say that basically you have to do the different types of statistical modeling, like as linear regression modeling, logistic regression modeling, different types of risk modeling. So I don't know that what other courses are available, but surely you need to learn the statistics a lot. So I will say try to do as many as courses that you can do on statistics that are available on the NPTEL. That much I can say. Sumit, then, sir, can you give us some topics for project based on this course with the help of our software from the academic point of view? You see, many people ask me project. I said, why you are asking me? You yourself can choose a project. Try to take a book uh, and then try to take any data set from there and try to apply whatever tools you have obtained here, and then try to look into the books and try to read those topics which are beyond the topics which I have covered in this course. That is the best project you can do. Right. Okay. Sir, give more examples with every topic in briefly. Adarsh, on what topic, which example you want. That is not clear. If you tell me more example on what topic, means I can do it, possibly I can do it. Right. So I hope there are no more questions left. Means if you have anything, you can just write in the chat box and I will be happy to answer. But you see, after looking into this question, one thing I have a general feeling that you are possibly asking that how are you going to use this course or the topic which you have learned in this course in your professional career. You see, whenever you are trying to work in a real field, you have to do the modeling, and and for doing the modeling you will be certainly getting some data. So the first step what you have to follow is that try to look into the data and try to understand how the data was generated and what is the nature or the characteristic of the data values. Right. Whether this is positive, whether this is negative, whether this is integer, whether this is fraction, and so on. And then whatever this probability functions, for example, you have learned, try to see that which of the conditions are matching with the conditions under which the data was generated. Once you can do this thing, then you have a tentative idea that this is the possibly the most appropriate probability function which can be used here to imitate the data generating process. But that is only from your third sense. Now, there are some tests means available in the statistics. Well, I've not covered it here because that was beyond this, the objective of this course, but surely through which you can actually judge that you are believing that this data is coming from this probability density function. Say, suppose if you assume, suppose you are interested in conducting a live testing experiment and you try to record the data on the lives of the equipment. So then surely from the theory, you know that in this case, Weibull distribution or the exponential distribution, they can be used here. So possibly now you try to take the structure, theory structure of that probability distribution, then try to use those tests and try to see whether statistically this data is coming from this distribution or not. You will get some idea. Once you have this idea, then now you try to see what are the different parameters involved of this probability density function. Now the estimation of those functions will give you an idea what are the different properties of that data set. For example, if you want to find out the, suppose if you have a data for the live testing, so you can assume that it is coming from the exponential distribution. Now estimating the parameters of the exponential distribution will give you different types of answers like as mean value, variability, etc., etc. And now you try to move further depending on the objective of what you really want to do here. Okay, so I think now we have some questions from Akash. Respected sir, can you suggest good books on statistics which are useful in data science? Yes, I will say, you see, Miss, at this moment, we are trying to go with the basics of statistics. So I will say, so as I already said, that there are many books. The only thing is this, you have to see what you really understand. Means, for example, if you ask me when I started writing my book, do you think that any author like me will think that, okay, how to write a bad book? Means everybody tries to write a book with a certain objective, and everybody wants to write the book in the best possible way so that other people can understand it. That's a different question that sometimes I am more comfortable with the approach of a particular teacher or a particular author. So that depends on you. But as such, all the books are good. And if you want to know some basic fundamentals about these topics without using much mathematical complexity, I will say for example, Miss, I have my own book, which is written in a pretty simple way, and you can use it. I hope there should not be any problem because now, as far as I know, 5.4 million copies of that book have been downloaded. So I believe that if 5.4 million people are using that book, so book could not be that bad. That much I can say. Right. Otherwise, there are many books. I have given some selected books on the course homepage also. Okay, the next question is from Sumit. How is big data analytics different from data science, or are they both the same? You see, data science is a science, and big data analytics is simply the set of tools which are used to draw the statistical inference from huge data. Now, huge data means, for example, if you try to see, suppose if I take a very simple example, suppose you want to find out the arithmetic mean. Now, every software, every computer has a limitation that it cannot say this entertain, suppose more than say this 5,000 observation at a time, because every computer has a RAM, etc. So now, suppose you get the data size of suppose 50,000, and you want to find out the arithmetic mean of these many observations. But your computer cannot support 50,000 observations at the same time. So now, one option is this, because your computer can afford only 5,000 observations, so I can divide the entire data set into 10 parts, 5,000 observation each. Now, the question is this: what should we do so that we can find out the arithmetic mean? So now you know from the theory point of view that if you have two data sets, suppose I have a 20 observation, and if you try to find out the arithmetic mean of those 20 observations, and in case if you try to divide the 20 observation into two parts, 10 or 10, then you try to find out the arithmetic mean of the first data set, arithmetic mean of the second data set, then you have two arithmetic means. Now, if you try to find out the arithmetic mean of the arithmetic means, then it is going to be the same as if you are trying to find out the arithmetic mean of 20 observation. So now this philosophy you have learned from the theory. Now you can employ it for your big data analytics that, okay, I will try to divide the observations into 10 equal parts with 5,000 observations each. And then I will try to find out the arithmetic mean of each of the data set. Then I will have 10 arithmetic means. And then I will try to find out the arithmetic mean of these 10 arithmetic means. And that will give me the arithmetic mean of the 50,000 observation. So now in this case, you know, but suppose if I put the same question and if you want to find out the geometric mean, then the geometric mean, it cannot be clubbed just like as you can club the arithmetic mean. So now here comes the tools that people are trying to develop. But these tools that how to combine these things, so that is the objective of the tools of the big data analytics. Similarly, if you want to find out the suppose variance, the variance cannot be done as variance 1 plus variance 2 plus variance 3 divided by 3. But for that, you have a different structure, right? So this is how we try to develop the tools which can be applicable in the case of big data. Well, I have told you one popular approach, but there are many approaches, and nowadays the entire world is looking forward for the development of such tools which can be used in the case of big data analysis. So this is big data analytics, and this is here data science, that how those things can be implemented. Now, suppose you want to do it in the online way. For example, you have seen that if you go to Amazon or Myntra or some other these type of sites, and you try to do something over there, after some days, if you don't buy anything, you will get some email that, okay, you have not bought this thing, these things are waiting in your shopping cart, etc., etc. What are these things? These are the data science tool, right? Okay. So Vandana, Kiran, Inamdar, as a data analyst, R or Python is required or preferred. You see, both are actually good. There is no competition. The only thing is this, you have to decide what is more applicable. As far as I understand, if you are using more statistics, then R is better because many packages are available. If you are trying to do basic statistics, or you are more interested in the big data, mean your data size is too big, then Python works better. Well, I have not used it, but this is what I know. Harshit, can a student of statistics after clearing GATE exam take admission in MTech or any branch of any IT or NIT? Yes, it depends on their on the institute, that different IITs have different types of courses. Sometimes they want this GATE examination to get into MTech program. For example, I know that IIT Jodhpur has started MTech program in data science, so there one can possibly go with GATE, but otherwise GATE is also used to go for the PhD program. But it depends, but it varies from institute to institute. Then, okay, Adarsh, sir, I do not attend the exam because I have some problem with other process to collect this certificate. Adarsh, you know that nothing comes free in this world. Right, and then yeah, I mean this certificate is given only when you appear in the examination. But anyway, I mean certificate is not everything in life. If you have learned this course and if you are able to use this course in your career, in your life, I think that will be a better option on the in comparison to a situation where you can obtain a certificate and you don't know anything. So I will say, means if you have done this course next year, in case if this course is floated, you can appear in the examination once again and you can go through it. Right. Then there will be another question. There is, I think, last question. Ujjwal, respected sir, is there any particular course related to data science after completing masters in statistics? Well, Ujjwal, it is very difficult to say. I'm not really aware of all the courses, but yeah, Miss Masters in Statistics will give you the basic information. After that, Miss, I will say once you have done the MSc in Statistics, then you are able to, or you are capable of standing on your own feet. Means after MSc, why do you expect that you will learn only through the courses? Try to learn yourself. Try to pick up a book and try to learn it. After that, you are the master of your own, and that is possibly the meaning of masters in statistics. Now you know statistics. Right, so I hope this was the last question, and means I can introduce you with my colleague here, Mulikam here. Right, he's Murli. He's the man behind this organization of this entire NPTEL course. If he's not there, possibly I cannot do anything. So he was responsible for managing the entire course and doing everything. And so whatever you are enjoying today, he's the man behind it. I did only one thing, that I recorded my videos, nothing more than. Right. Thank you, Murli.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Students, all the best for the examination. If you have any other queries, you can write in the discussion forum. All the best. So we are going to end the session.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, student. Thank you all. Good luck. May God bless you.
For 20 seconds, then we can answer.
Oh,
Coffee, sir. Coffee.
yes. Tea, coffee, whatever you have.